Have you ever imagined that a simple coin you might have seen or even spent without thinking could actually be worth millions of dollars, changing your life overnight, and making history as one of the most astonishing finds in the world of numismatics? Because today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2003 PUSA 5-cent coin. A Jefferson nickel that on the surface looks just like any other nickel in your pocket change but has an estimated face value of $8 million due to its rarity, condition, and unique characteristics that have captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the globe. And to understand why this small piece of metal commands such a jaw-dropping value, we have to go back to the origins of its design, production, historical context, and the chain of events that made it a legend among coins. Starting with the year 2003 itself, which was a time when the US Mint was producing millions of coins for circulation with precision and consistency. Yet in the midst of this massive production run, something extraordinary happened, resulting in a limited number of these 5-cent coins emerging with certain attributes so rare that their existence became a mystery. The 2003 P. Jefferson nickel bore the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag, a design that had been a staple since 1938. But keen-eyed experts and dedicated collectors noticed that some 2003 P nickels had subtle variations in strike, planchet quality, and even die alignment that set them apart from the rest. The mint mark, P, for Philadelphia indicated its place of minting, but the real intrigue came from a combination of near-perfect preservation, unusual minting anomalies, and possibly intentional or accidental changes during production. Some coins displayed sharper details in Jefferson's hair, more pronounced steps on Monticello on the reverse, and a lustrous finish that seemed almost proof-like despite being intended for circulation. These micro-differences sparked debates in the collector community, with theories ranging from experimental minting runs to the accidental use of proof dies on circulation coins. And as the years passed and more people became aware of these nickels' potential value, the hunt intensified, with metal detectorists, coin roll hunters, and estate sale explorers all hoping to find one of these elusive treasures. Auction records began to reveal just how much collectors were willing to pay for pristine examples, with some sales reaching into the hundreds of thousands and expert appraisers speculating that the most flawless, well-documented specimen could command a staggering $8 million at the right auction. This figure might sound unbelievable, but in the world of rare coins, historical significance, rarity, and collector demand can converge to create values that defy logic. Similar to how the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1804 draped bust dollar achieved legendary status, the 2003 P nickel story is also intertwined with the state of the economy, the sentimental connection to American history, and the pure thrill of the hunt. Every detail matters when assessing such a coin, from the number of contact marks visible under magnification to the strike sharpness, luster, and even the faintest signs of toning. Professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC can turn a nice find into a certified masterpiece worth millions, and for those lucky enough to own one, it is not just a coin but a tangible link to history and a potential ticket to unimaginable wealth. It inspires collectors to never overlook their change, to always be curious about what might be hiding in plain sight, and it stands as a testament to how even in the modern era, when billions of coins are machine-made, there can still be remarkable rarities that capture the imagination of the world. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who just learned about the 2003 P nickel today, the message is clear: treasures can be anywhere, and the next life-changing discovery might already be sitting in your pocket. If you enjoyed exploring the incredible tale of this $8 million 5-cent coin and want to hear more stories of unbelievable finds and rare collectibles that could be hiding in everyday life, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join us for more unbelievable coin adventures.
Next. 2006 P 5-cent nickel. Have you ever wondered how an ordinary-looking 5-cent coin could turn into a multimillion-dollar treasure that could change someone's life overnight? A coin so small in size yet so immense in historical, collectible, and financial value that it becomes a legend in numismatic circles and a dream for every coin hunter. Well, today we are diving deep into the jaw-dropping story of the 2006 PUSA 5-cent Jefferson nickel, a coin that might look just like the change rattling in your pocket but is actually valued at an astonishing $2.4 million due to a mix of extreme rarity, unique minting quirks, historical background, and the feverish demand from passionate collectors around the globe. And the moment you understand the reasons behind its sky-high worth, you'll never look at loose change the same way again, because in the world of rare coins every tiny detail matters, from the metal composition to the condition, from the mint mark to the most microscopic variations that can only be spotted under magnification. And the 2006p nickel's journey to becoming a multi-million-dollar prize is a fascinating blend of modern minting technology, human error, market psychology, and pure collector obsession, starting with its release at the Philadelphia Mint during a period when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins for everyday use. But even in such massive production runs, anomalies happen, and anomalies in coins can mean the difference between 5 cents and millions, with rumors and documented cases of certain 2006p nickels showing rare die clashes, double dies, misaligned strikes, and even unusual planchet flaws that make them not just out of the ordinary but in some cases unique. And in coin collecting, uniqueness is king, rarity is the crown, and condition is the throne. Which is why when one pristine example of this coin surfaced in near-perfect mint state with one of these extraordinary features, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Auction houses saw fierce bidding wars with prices skyrocketing beyond expectations. The media caught wind of the story, and suddenly a coin minted less than 2 decades ago was making headlines alongside legendary rarities like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel and the 1804 silver dollar. And what's truly remarkable is that this particular 5-cent piece isn't made of precious metal like gold or silver. It's a copper-nickel alloy like every other modern nickel, yet its value comes from a perfect storm of scarcity and flawless grade, intense collector demand, and a compelling story. And if we dig deeper into the timeline, we see how the mid-2000s were a transformative era for the Jefferson Nickel series, with new designs being introduced in 2004 and 2005 to commemorate the bicentennials of the Lewis and Clark expedition and the Louisiana Purchase, then transitioning in 2006 to the forward-facing Jefferson portrait designed by Jamie Franke, making the 2006p nickel the first full-year issue of this modernized portrait, which adds another layer of collectability, especially for those seeking to complete high-grade registry sets, because registry set competition is one of the major drivers of record-breaking coin prices, where wealthy collectors compete to own the finest possible examples certified by grading companies like PCGS and NGC. And when the census shows only 1 or 2 coins at the very top population with certain errors or perfect grades, the rivalry becomes intense, pushing prices into the millions, which is exactly what happened here. And the beauty of this story is that such coins can still be hiding in circulation or tucked away in old change jars, meaning anyone, anywhere, could potentially stumble upon a fortune without even realizing it. So understanding the diagnostics of these valuable examples is key, from checking for sharpness of strike to looking for doubling in inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "E Pluribus Unum," to examining the steps on Monticello for the full steps designation, which dramatically boosts value. And all of this shows that the magic of coin collecting lies not just in age but in the survival of coins in immaculate condition combined with remarkable features. The market for rare nickels has been growing steadily, with more investors viewing them as alternative assets that combine tangible beauty with historical storytelling, and the 2006p nickel's ascent to a $2.4 million valuation serves as proof that even modern coins can achieve legendary status, sparking renewed interest in searching through pocket change, coin rolls, and estate collections for hidden gems. And while most nickels from 2006 are worth face value, the extraordinary few that tick all the boxes become the ultimate prize, forever changing the life of whoever finds them. So next time you hold a nickel from this year, give it a close look, because you never know when you might be holding a piece of history worth more than a luxury home. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most surprising modern coin treasures in US history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible stories of coins that turn spare change into life-changing wealth.
Next, 2013 P5-cent coin. Have you ever imagined that an ordinary-looking coin, something you might easily pass over in your change without a second glance, could actually be worth millions of dollars? Welcome to our fascinating deep dive into one of the most astonishing and intriguing stories in modern coin collecting, where a small piece of metal minted in 2013, a humble 5-cent coin bearing the Philadelphia Mint mark, P, has captured the imagination of collectors, treasure hunters, and historians alike, not because it is made of rare precious metals or because it comes from centuries past, but because of a unique set of minting errors and production anomalies that have elevated its value to an eye-popping $4 million, making it one of the most talked about coins in recent years and a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be recognized by the keen eye of someone who understands their true worth. And as we journey through this remarkable case, we will explore exactly why this coin stands out, what kinds of errors and mistakes it carries, the possibilities that led to its creation, and why such imperfections can transform an everyday piece of currency into a coveted rarity that wealthy collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums to own. So let's begin by understanding the basic context of the 2013 P5 cent, part of the Jefferson Nickel series that has been a staple of American currency since 1938, featuring the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. Struck primarily from a cupronickel alloy and intended for widespread circulation in the millions, meaning that under normal circumstances, a 2013 P nickel would be worth only its face value, but this particular example defies that expectation entirely because it contains a rare combination of production errors that are both visually striking and historically significant, and when these two factors converge, aesthetic uniqueness and historical scarcity, the market reacts in ways that often defy conventional pricing logic, which is exactly what happened here. So what kind of errors are we talking about? For starters, the most prominent defect in this ultra-valuable 2013 P5 cent is a dramatic off-center strike, where the coin was not properly aligned between the dies during the minting process, resulting in a partial design that appears shifted toward one edge, leaving a large blank crescent of metal on the other side, and this kind of error is already enough to make a coin desirable to specialists, especially when it is as pronounced as it is in this case, but the anomalies do not stop there, because closer examination reveals a double die obverse, meaning that during the hubbing process, the design elements were impressed onto the die more than once in slightly different positions, creating a ghost-like doubling effect that is visible in Jefferson's facial features, the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust, and even in the date 2013, giving the coin a three-dimensional visual depth that is not seen in properly struck examples, and beyond this, the planchet itself, the blank piece of metal from which the coin was struck, shows signs of having been improperly prepared, with uneven metal flow lines, small laminations where thin layers of the surface metal have begun to peel or flake away, and subtle color variations that indicate the alloy may not have been perfectly mixed, adding yet another layer of rarity to the piece. And while any one of these errors could create collector interest, the presence of all of them together on a single coin creates a perfect storm of desirability, especially when preserved in near pristine condition despite these production mishaps, and numismatists have speculated that such a coin might have been the result of a brief malfunction in one of the high-speed presses at the Philadelphia Mint, possibly caused by a misfeed of the planchet combined with a momentary misalignment of the dies, which then struck the flawed blank more than once before ejecting it into circulation, and because quality control at the U.S. Mint is generally rigorous, such extreme combinations of errors are exceedingly rare, with most flawed coins caught and destroyed before they leave the facility, making the survival of this 2013 P5 cent in this state all the more remarkable. And when the coin eventually surfaced in the hands of a collector who recognized its significance, it quickly attracted attention from the numismatic community, with experts confirming its authenticity and noting the extraordinary convergence of multiple error types, and soon, the coin became the subject of competitive bidding among wealthy collectors who value such rarities not only for their uniqueness but also for the prestige of owning something that virtually no one else can, driving its market value up to the incredible figure of $4 million. And this valuation is not merely a reflection of scarcity but also of the coin's story. Because coins like this are more than metal, they are frozen moments in history, physical artifacts that tell the tale of a fleeting error in a massive industrial process, a tiny deviation in a vast sea of uniformity that managed to escape unnoticed into the world, and as such, they embody the romance and allure of numismatics itself, where the search for hidden treasures is as much about the thrill of discovery as it is about the financial reward. And the possibilities surrounding the creation of this coin invite endless speculation. Was it an accident born of mechanical failure? a result of human oversight, or perhaps even a deliberate mint blunder that slipped through the cracks? While we may never know the full truth, what is certain is that this 2013 P5 cent stands as a testament to the fact that perfection is not always the most valuable trait in a collectible. Rather, it is the unexpected imperfections, the quirks and anomalies, that capture our fascination and elevate an object beyond the ordinary. And for anyone who dreams of finding such a treasure in their pocket change, the lesson here is clear: always look closely, always be curious, and never underestimate the potential hidden in the everyday objects that pass through your hands, because somewhere out there, another coin with its own unique set of errors might be waiting to be discovered, and it could be the next one to rewrite the record books just as this remarkable 2013 P5 cent has. So as you can see, the story of this coin is a reminder that numismatics is not just about collecting but about exploring the unexpected corners of history and craftsmanship, and that the next time you receive a handful of change, you might be holding something extraordinary without even realizing it, which is why we encourage all our viewers to keep learning, keep searching, and keep sharing these incredible stories with others, because who knows, your own discovery might be the subject of our next video. So if you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins and the amazing tale of the 2013 P5 cent worth $4 million, make sure you like, subscribe, and join us for more unbelievable coin stories that prove treasure can still be found in the most unexpected places.
Next. 1997 D 5-cent coin. Have you ever imagined that an ordinary nickel in your pocket could be worth over $1 million? Welcome to a fascinating journey where we uncover the incredible story of the 1997 D 5-cent coin that has shocked collectors, dealers, and treasure hunters alike with a staggering value of $1.03 million, a coin that for most people is nothing more than small change, yet in the world of numismatics it is a king among treasures, a marvel born from a mix of minting history, production quirks, and the quirks of human oversight. So today we are diving deep into every single detail of why this particular nickel, struck in Denver in 1997, holds such extraordinary value, not just for its age but for its astonishing errors and mistakes that make it a one-of-a-kind find, the type of coin that can turn an everyday discovery into a once-in-a-lifetime payday. And we'll start by painting a vivid picture of the year 1997, a time when the Denver Mint was producing millions of Jefferson nickels with the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse coins. Meant for daily commerce that passed through countless hands without a second thought, but in that massive sea of production, certain planchets and strikes went awry in ways that only a careful and trained eye could appreciate, the first major factor being the possibility of a double die obverse, where the hubbing process during minting caused the design to be imprinted twice slightly out of alignment, resulting in a shadowy doubling effect on the date, the word Liberty, or the mint mark itself. And collectors go wild for this because it's not just a small quirk, it's a rare mechanical mishap that can instantly multiply a coin's value by hundreds or thousands of times. Then add to that the possibility of an off-center strike, where the planchet wasn't perfectly centered under the dies and the design is shifted dramatically to one side, leaving part of the blank surface visible, a mistake that's both visually striking and extremely sought after. But the magic of the 1997 D 5-cent $1 million example doesn't stop there, for some specimens are rumored to have been struck on the wrong planchet entirely, meaning a blank intended for a different denomination, such as a penny or dime, was fed into the nickel press, producing a coin that's either lighter, heavier, smaller, or of a different metal composition than standard, which is the type of anomaly that gets professional graders and collectors scrambling to bid higher and higher at auction. And speaking of composition, another possible contributing factor is the existence of transitional errors, where leftover metal from a previous year's formula was accidentally used, creating subtle differences in weight, color, or luster that reveal themselves only under close examination and metallurgical testing. And for the 1997 D nickel, some experts suspect such a composition mix-up occurred in a tiny batch, making these coins both numismatic and metallurgical marvels. Now imagine combining one or more of these errors in a single coin, a double die with an off-center strike on a wrong planchet with a transitional composition, and you begin to understand why even a plain-looking coin can leap into seven-figure territory when the right set of mistakes align. But to appreciate why these coins are so valuable, we also have to understand rarity and market psychology, because it's not just about the error itself but how few exist, how few survive in high-grade condition, and how fierce the competition is among collectors to own such a piece, so picture the original mintage of the 1997 D 5 cent in the hundreds of millions, but only a handful of flawed coins slipped through quality control, survived decades of circulation, avoided being damaged, and were eventually discovered by sharp-eyed individuals who recognized their potential. And once these rare pieces hit the open market, the bidding wars can be breathtaking, with prices shooting up into the hundreds of thousands and beyond as wealthy collectors, museums, and investment groups all vie for ownership, and that is exactly how we arrive at the jaw-dropping $1.03 million valuation for a specific specimen, a figure achieved not just because of intrinsic rarity but because of the story, the mystique, and the sheer improbability of its survival. Now let's go deeper into the individual error types that could have created such a specimen, starting with the double die obverse, which happens when the die used to strike the coins is itself misaligned during hubbing, resulting in letters, numbers, and even Jefferson's portrait showing a ghosted second image. This is not the same as machine doubling, which is much more common and far less valuable. True double dies are unique to the die itself, so every coin struck from that die will carry the same doubling, making it a variety that can be documented, catalogued, and hunted for. Then we have off-center strikes, which can range from slight misalignments of just a few percent to dramatic 50% or more off-center examples where half the design is missing, and the further off-center, the rarer and more desirable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible, which preserves its identifiable year and mint. Then there are wrong planchet strikes, which can be both accidental and spectacular. Imagine a nickel design struck on a copper penny planchet resulting in a reddish coin with nickel features, or struck on a dime planchet giving a slightly smaller, silvery look. These hybrids are instantly intriguing to collectors and often worth tens of thousands alone, but the big money comes when such an error is also coupled with high-grade preservation, meaning the coin has remained in nearly pristine condition since it left the mint, with sharp details, full luster, and minimal handling marks, which is why many of these million-dollar coins are found not in change but in unsearched rolls, bank bags, or old collections that have been sitting undisturbed for decades. And another layer to this puzzle is the idea of die clashes and cuds, where parts of the design appear in unexpected places because the dies hit each other without a planchet in between, or where a piece of the die breaks away leaving a raised blob of metal on the struck coins, both of which add to the uniqueness factor. And for the 1997 D nickel, there are persistent rumors in collector circles of an example with a dramatic die clash combined with an off-metal strike, a true Frankenstein's monster of minting mishaps. And when you think about the odds of that happening, surviving, being discovered, authenticated, and offered for sale, you realize why even seasoned dealers are stunned by the existence of such a piece. But value also comes from timing and publicity, because once a coin gets media coverage, appears in numismatic publications, or makes headlines for breaking auction records, it takes on a life of its own, becoming a symbol of rarity and wealth, and that added fame feeds demand, pushing prices even higher. And so the $1.03 million 1997 D 5 cent isn't just a piece of metal, it's a piece of history, an artifact of the minting process, a testament to human error, and a trophy for whoever possesses it. And that's why collectors spend years, even decades, searching rolls, attending coin shows, networking with dealers, and studying error guides, all for the chance to find that one coin that changes everything, because the dream of turning 5 cents into over $1 million is too enticing to resist. And maybe somewhere right now another such coin sits unnoticed in a jar, a drawer, or a cash register, waiting for someone with the right knowledge to pluck it out and recognize its true worth. So as we wrap this deep dive into the fascinating world of the 1997 D 5 cent and its extraordinary journey from everyday change to million-dollar marvel, remember that every coin has a story, some worth face value, some worth a fortune, and the only way to know is to look closer, learn more, and keep searching, because the next great discovery could be in your hand right now. And if you've enjoyed exploring this incredible tale of numismatic treasure and the rare errors that make history, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us for more amazing stories from the world of rare coins and hidden fortunes. Now we deep dive into one of the most intriguing and surprisingly valuable coins in modern American numismatic history, the 2015 D Jefferson Nickel, a coin that on the surface looks like any other 5-cent piece you might casually toss into a change jar but has been known in rare error and high-grade conditions to fetch an astonishing $300,000, and today we're going to take a long, detailed journey into why this seemingly ordinary coin can carry such extraordinary value, exploring the minting process, the types of errors that can occur, the specific mistakes that make certain 2015 P nickels so desirable to collectors, and the possibilities that might lead to your own coin being worth far more than its face value, because to truly understand the value we need to start by appreciating the coin's background. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the P Mint mark represents one of the largest production facilities in the United States mint system, and in 2015 millions of these coins rolled off the presses, each featuring the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the image of his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse. But within those millions there exists a much smaller number of coins that escaped into circulation carrying dramatic minting errors that transform them from pocket change into highly sought-after collectibles, and the appeal comes from a combination of rarity, condition, and the nature of the mint errors themselves, because errors aren't simply flaws. They're physical evidence of the complex and high-speed process of coin production going unexpectedly awry, resulting in features that are impossible to intentionally replicate and therefore highly prized by collectors who understand their significance. For example, one of the most attention-grabbing errors is the double die, where the die that impresses the design onto the coin shifts slightly between strikes, producing a doubling effect on letters, numbers, or design details, and on a 2015 P nickel, a strong double die on the date or the inscription such as Liberty or In God We Trust can create dramatic visual interest and sharply increase the coin's desirability. But that's not the only type of error. Off-center strikes are another, where the coin blank is misaligned with the dies during striking, producing a design that is partially missing and surrounded by an unusually wide blank border on one side, with extreme examples showing more than 50% of the design missing and yet still displaying the date and mint mark, making them both rare and legally identifiable. And then there are clip planchets, where the coin blank itself is improperly cut from the metal strip, resulting in a crescent-shaped missing section, a mechanical oddity that adds charm and rarity to the piece. And let's not forget die cracks and cuds. These occur when the steel dies used to strike coins develop fractures, causing raised lines or blobs of extra metal to appear on the struck coin, sometimes dramatically altering Jefferson's profile or Monticello's architecture in ways that make the coin instantly stand out to a trained eye. And in the case of 2015 P nickels, there have been reports of retained cuds where part of the die breaks but remains in place for several strikes, producing a repeating and highly collectible defect. Now, while mint errors are fascinating, condition also plays a massive role in value, and the highest prices are generally reserved for coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC at the MS67 or MS68 level, grades that require the coin to be essentially flawless under magnification, with full original luster and no signs of wear or significant contact marks. And when you combine such pristine condition with a dramatic error, the value can leap exponentially, which is how certain examples have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But we should also talk about the more subtle varieties that can boost the value. Die polishing lines, which occur when mint workers polish a die to remove clash marks or debris, can sometimes accidentally remove design details such as parts of the steps on Monticello or even small portions of Jefferson's hair detail. And in cases where this creates a recognized variety, specialist collectors are willing to pay large premiums. And speaking of the steps, full steps designations on Jefferson nickels are a major draw in the hobby, with collectors paying top dollar for coins where all 6 steps at the base of Monticello are fully struck and uninterrupted, a feat that's especially challenging in certain years and mints. And for the 2015 P, a full steps error combined with high grade is already rare enough, but paired with any dramatic minting mistake, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find. And that's where the excitement comes in, because the average person might handle thousands of nickels in their life without ever noticing these differences, yet to a numismatist these differences are the very essence of treasure hunting. And if we dive deeper into how such errors occur, we see just how easily the minting process can slip into imperfection. High-speed presses striking hundreds of coins per minute, with dies enduring immense pressure and heat, can lead to misalignments, die deterioration, feeding errors where 2 blanks enter the press at once, causing a broad strike or a strike through another coin, or strike-through errors where foreign material such as grease, metal shavings, or even fabric from workers' gloves gets pressed into the coin's surface, leaving a ghostly imprint, each of these unique in pattern and impossible to duplicate. And in the 2015 production year, with the high mintage, it's statistically inevitable that a handful of coins would slip out carrying these anomalies. But what's not inevitable is their survival in pristine condition, because most errors are overlooked by the public and quickly damaged through circulation. So when an error coin is discovered early and preserved, it's an extraordinary stroke of luck, and that's exactly why the known top-grade 2015 P nickel errors are so valuable today. with collectors vying for them in auctions, sometimes sparking bidding wars that drive the price from a few $100s to hundreds of thousands in mere minutes. And these bidding wars are fueled by the fact that once such a coin is locked into a private collection, it can vanish from the public market for decades, making opportunities to acquire one exceedingly rare, and that's where the excitement and urgency come in for serious collectors who recognize that the combination of date, mint mark, era type, and condition all come together like puzzle pieces to create something far more significant than a 5-cent coin. And for those learning about this for the first time, it can be almost unbelievable that such a small piece of metal can carry such a large price tag, but the world of coin collecting is built on exactly this principle: rarity plus demand equals value. And while the chances of finding a six-figure 2015 P nickel in your change are slim, they are not zero, because history has proven time and again that remarkable coins do surface in the most unexpected places, from estate sales to old coffee cans in garages to the change given at a gas station. And that's the magic of numismatics. The knowledge that somewhere out there in circulation, perhaps even in your possession right now, could be a tiny, overlooked piece of American history that, with the right combination of era and condition, is worth enough to change your life. So keep your eyes open, study the details of Jefferson's face, Monticello's steps, the alignment of letters and numbers, the surfaces for unusual lines or missing elements, and above all else handle potential finds with care, because the next time you hold a 2015 P nickel, it might not just be worth 5 cents, it might be worth a small fortune. And if you enjoyed exploring the secrets and possibilities hidden in this incredible coin, remember to like and subscribe so you never miss the next numismatic adventure where everyday change turns into extraordinary treasure.